What's up, guys? Welcome back to JSig Poker, where I bring you guys tips, tricks, and strategies on PLO every single day. If you guys want to hit up a dope club, hit me up on Instagram at Acoustic Shredder. Links in the description. We got tournaments, sick-ass tournaments going on right now. So definitely hit me up, and I'll get you in. They got PLO, no limit, going from low stakes to high stakes. You can actually implement a lot of the stuff that I teach you guys in this club and make some pretty good money, because there's a lot of fun players who just don't really care. But today I'm going to go over a hand review specifically from 50K PLO High Roller Final Table where Ivey won. Let's get to the first hand. And I'll tell you guys my thought process on how I feel each player played and what they could have done better or right in my opinion. But first hand, we get Ribeiro opening up with King, Queen, 9-8. I believe he's from later position with not much at all. Let's see how much he's got here. Yeah, I mean, blinds are 15-30K. He's got like, what, 6.5 bigs. He opens pretty much committing himself. Jukaman does flat with ace, queen, jack, 3 double suited. Don't mind it. Don't even mind just shoving it in either, because Ribeiro can have a lot of hands here, especially because he's so short. But let's see what happens.
Stack to this pot with a much worse hand. He's got the live king ball. Here we go.
Ribeiro came in as our short stack, and unfortunately for Ribeiro,
yeah,
this is not a flop he is going to like.
Jukaman flops trips.
From Finland, all over it with trip jack.
Ribeiro with a gut shot. Now, if you're Ribeiro, you don't really have any. You don't really have a showdown hand. Not much of a showdown hand. Sure, you can hit a gut shot, a king, queen, 9-8. I guess it's fine to check back, mix it in. But with such a short stack, you can put so much pressure on your opponent. Your hand is going to include a lot of jack X, because you're going to have a lot of those ace, king, jack, 10, king, queen, jack, 10, queen, jack, 9-8, right? So I actually like just range betting on this flop and taking it down a lot of the time. And if Jukaman goes all in, you can easily just fold, rather than you check back and let him potentially catch up and then have more trouble winning the pot. But let's see what happens here. He does decide to check back, which I'm not really understand. I guess I don't really understand it, honestly. But Jukaman just now turned quads, and he's got a pot-sized bet left, right? So you almost don't really need to bluff here. If Ribeiro has a hand like queens, 10s, 8s, 9s, kings, aces, you're going to get it in anyway, just going along the river. So I like a check. Plus, you also get him to potentially bluff hands. But let's see what Ribeiro does. He does decide to check, and it looks like he's trying to make it look like he has aces or kings or queens. Now let's go ahead and look at the river. Now, if you're on the river and if you're Jukamanin, if you're Jukamanin, yeah, I think just going all in here would be a good play, because you don't want him to check back hands like 10s, 8s, 9s, kings. Kings would most likely go all in, but you do block pocket queens. I would personally probably lean towards going all in. If you think he's capable of bluffing, you've seen him do it before. As you guys have seen in my last video where I go over how to exploit different players based on different tendencies. So if you think Ribeiro will perform a bluff, then yeah, go ahead and check the 4 of a kind here.
You got to be wary when you're playing against a guy whose initials are JJ.
Oh, and Ribeiro does go all in. And he does get caught, unfortunately. He does get knocked out. But next hand here, we get Imsedovic, a guy who got caught cheating on multiple sites, if you guys all don't know. He basically had a ring where he was using real-time software and cheating during online poker tournaments. And he did it with multi-accounts too. But he goes in and opens Jack, 8-6 double suited, very, very nice hand. Unichin, short stack, 3 bets with King, Jack 7, no suit. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know the GTO when it comes to these tournaments. I feel like they're playing very aggressive. Honestly, I would like to just see a call because you're off-suited. Your tournament life is going to be at stake. Why not just play some small ball instead of high variance? You know, if it was a suit, yeah, I can definitely see that because you can get it in on a lot of flops and be good a lot of times. But I would much rather just see just a call here. But Imsidovic having double suited Jack, 8-6, all being connected, you can't fold. I don't mind a call here either because you're probably not going to be ahead a lot. Yeah, let's go see a flop. Beautiful flop for Imsidovic. And if you're Unichin with the gut shot and over and with one king of diamond, you kind of just got to go all in and pray. Obviously not a great board at all. If you're Imsidovic with your top pair gut shot with the straight, with the flush outs and a set out, you know, he's a favorite. 57% favorite here. And he looks like he is enjoying himself. Very nice card for Unichin. 60-40 now.
One more card to come. Ali's gonna need any jack. One remains.
But Imsidovic runs good. So, oh, and he hits all of his outs for that 7 of diamonds.
That'll do it.
Yeah, and he's out there.
We'll see this one 3 ways.
On to the next hand.
5,000. So
Looks like 3 players are in here. Imsidovic with kings.
an interesting flop.
Parsonen
Ivey
with a
flush.
wheel with the 4 diamonds, and Ivey with the jack high flush here. Everyone checks around, which is pretty standard.
Saw that they were all diamonds.
If you're Ivey, you don't want to bloat the pot 3-way with just a jack high flush because someone can have a straight flush, nut flush, third nut flush, second nut flush, and you're not going to really get value from a ton of worse.
Having that straight, he may.
Yeah, and if you're Parson, I still like a check here because Ivey is gonna have a lot of check back to small flush draws, as well as some slow plays.
Yeah,
Like the nut flush.
Streets here. And even more diamonds.
Yeah, and Parsonen still has a wheel.
Thought about it.
I don't even mind blocking if you're Parsonen. But at the same time, like, what are you going to get called from? Pocket aces, you know? So I might just check and let Ivey bluff with a hand like King, Queen, Jack 10 with the diamond in his hand.
No.
But obviously, Ivey is not going to go anywhere with his Jack High flush. But yeah, I do like a check if you're Parsonen.
50-50.
Looks like we got Ivey opening from the earliest position. Wiseman 3 bets with Ace Queen 8-3, which is interesting. I know Wiseman is a pro, but with the A3 disconnected, I like just flatting here.
Obviously, Weissman's not going anywhere.
But if you guys can fill me in on why they're playing so aggressively, please let me know. I'm sure there's a reason for it. I just don't know what it is. But it may have something to do with ICM.
Jack 9-7.
But again, if Ivey's opening, you know, he's probably not going to fold to a 3-bet. So why would you 3-bet with the weak hand like this? I would much prefer just a flat. And he's going to see some bad news because he's going to be slightly behind, but he also has to get it in on this flop with just a pot-sized bet left with his gut shot. Overs and a backdoor flush draw. He's actually not bad at all. But Ivey with the wrap and a backdoor flush draw, he does have to call. And Ivey turns the 4, so he's looking really good, 92%. Yeah, and it's over. It's over.
Dylan Weissman has been eliminated in 5th place.
All right, now again, we see some really aggressive play here. We get Imsidovic limping in from the small with King 8-9-6 with the single suit. I do like it. I don't like Ray's getting in here with a weak hand, plays some small ball pot control. But Parsonen raising with Ace Queen 4-3 with the single suited 4-3. I don't like it because if Imsidovic is limping, he's probably not folding. So again, why would you raise with a bad hand like this and risk your tournament life? So I'd much rather just see a check.
Kicking ass and taking names, Doug.
But we're seeing multiple mistakes here made on this final table, which is
We've been around poker for a long
really interesting, right? You don't see that a lot in Hold'em, at least. But these guys were doing in PLO, which shows that there's a lot of money to still be made in PLO. But yeah, Imsidovic just rips it in. Parson with this gut shot, nothing else to go with it. Looking pretty grim for him.
Parson looking for a jack and only a jack with one card to come. And he get lucky here and survive.
Nope,
No,
he is gone.
not going to happen. Lose place. He'll earn himself $176,000 for his efforts.
It was dramatic. It had its moments. Now I'm looking around. What do we watch now? We got
Yeah,
Rocky and
we got a big hand here. Jukumanen limps in with King 8-6-5 from the small blind. Imsidovic with the double suited 10-10-7-3. Just decide to raise it up. You know, both big stacks. A lot of ICM pressure here. Plus, he's in position. I like it. I like it if you're Imsidovic. You can put a lot of pressure on, rep a lot of hands with your pocket tens and having the blockers. And oh my gosh, what a flop.
10-6.
Flop is 10.
There's a lot of play in this, but
10-6-6. Jukumanen
one of them.
flops trips. Imsidovic flops the boat. Yeah, and if you're Imsidovic, you do want to get some value in. He can have a 6. He can have a flush draw. He could have over pairs. And Jukumanen, yeah, it's just like the call here. I don't like a check raise, right? You're not going to really get it in against much that you beat. So,
Bet call. Pot now. Just about
oh my gosh, he rivers the 5. This is an absolute setup. Now, if you're Imsidovic,
disaster.
how do you want to size up here? Are you going to go for the 6s and the over pairs with flush draws? You're going to bet big and try to get it in on rivers? That's what I'm trying to do, honestly. So I would like a bet of maybe, let's see here. Yeah, around 250, right? Close to pot.
Jukumanen can lose to pocket tens. He loses to 10-6, and that's it.
Yeah, and he is going big here. But not big enough. Not big enough. I would like to see him go bigger. To set up for that pot jam.
Now, Ali knows that his opponent has at least a 6. Right
Yeah, now Jukumanen is a little concerned
value of brutal river.
at this point. He could be getting coolered.
Paying the money at this point, Doug.
You could kind of just tell he's a little nervous. Yeah, and he just grins.
Yeah.
He can't fold. You just can't fold. How can you possibly fold? But, yeah, you just can't fold. You beat everything except for
You see
pocket
it. You saw
tens.
the grimace. You see the shake of the head. And you see just the
That is
eye,
painful,
like, well,
dude.
I
That is
know my
absolutely
hand
painful.
Is good, but I know there's a really good chance that I'm beat.
Right. Ali, sort of the new guard, Ivey of the old guard, although.
Yeah, not much to say here. This is just an all-in. Can skip this.
Tinkering around.
All right, but we get
Formatted for the top 21.
Imsidovic
Now, I think what we're leaning.
raising with ace, queen, 8-7 double suited. Ivey with queen, jack, jack 2 single suited. I like the flat from Ivey.
Be indicative of your chip count. Let's just use.
Two monsters going head to head, toe to toe.
You would get X number of chips as opposed
Pretty
to
bad flop for Ivey.
first.
If you're Imsidovic, I don't mind a check.
So you're essentially going
Or
to be
bet.
rewarded based on where you end up.
$350,000.
And if you're Imsidovic, you can do this to target hands like Phil Ivey's, like jacks,
Servich
like tens.
with the edge. Equity.
And if you get raised, you can just fold.
Behind Ivey's jack.
Or you can obviously check it back and play some pot control if you think
It's an ace
Ivey
double.
may be doing something crazy,
Now with ace
or if they're
double.
very aggressive. But if they're very passive, I like just betting.
His grips on this pot.
Now, if you're Msetovic, top 2 plus a backdoor flush draw plus an open-ended, blocking the 8-9. I think this is a pretty mandatory bet. But he does decide to... Oh! He decides to check.
He did that.
Oh!
Two outer.
And he rivers the jack. Yeah, and guys, I like betting because you can target worse hands with flush draws. Hands like king, 4, 5, 10 with backdoor hearts. You know what I'm talking about? You might even get other worse hands to call you, like 5, 6, 8, jack, you know, on the turn.
And he has to feel really good.
No, if you're Ivey, you kind of just got to bet big here and hope to get called by ace X or ace 2 pair.
He wouldn't check any straights. This is going
'Cause this would
possible for Ali to get away from
put him in a really tough spot.
Doesn't change
Yeah.
much. Yes,
And it's beautiful that you have the pocket jack because you unblock the ace.
Oh,
And Msetovic kind of is like with the 8. Wow, and oh, does he call? He does make the call. Yeah, he does pretty much snap call. Oof. Tough. With the 8 in your hand, you kind of have to shrug call unless you think Ivey's just a total nit, which he's obviously not. Now,
150.
Ivey with ace, ace, 8, 4.
Call.
Msetovic having to call with king, queen, 6, 2.
Oh, yeah. We're going to dance on this one. Msetovic with
money
top
going
pair.
in. Here we go.
Ivey with
Yeah, and they're both just all in with the pot size
They're all
bet
in.
left.
Ivey with a 3.
You might even contemplate folding that sometimes pre if you're Msetovic.
For a king, a queen,
Heads
or
up,
a
you probably shouldn't. With the king eye suit on the flop, you might just,
four
you know, it's
spades.
tough.
Going to give Ali a few more outs. He's got a straight
Ivey with
as
just a
well.
pot size bet left, yeah, just go all in.
These outs are at the top of your screen, 15 of them.
And Ivey takes it down like a champion.
Ali Msetovic finishes in second place. He'll take home $416,000, and a Hall of Famer, Phil Ivey. Just absolutely crushed.
Phil Ivey the GOAT.
There's your champion. What a final table. Take a look at our GG poker.
Alright guys, so if you like this video, hit that like and subscribe button for more PLO content, and until the next one, see you guys in the next video.
Another win in the bag.